think there's both pros and cons to healthcare reform. I think the pros are broader coverage, the cons, increased cost.
I do believe in democracy. I come from a country that democracy didn't mean anything, but I believe the changes that we're seeing is byproduct of so many mishaps and inadequacies and insufficiencies in the healthcare system.
I don't even know where this healthcare revenue is.
Well, I read that one way of helping to pay for the bill, they're going to have a large tax on tanning salons.
Yeah, right.
I'm serious.
No way.
Way.
You mean to tell me the whole way they plan on paying for this healthcare revenue is to tax tanning salons?
Exactly.
They can't do that.
I know, it's not fair. It discriminates against us fair-skinned people who need a tan.
There has to be a slew of other taxes besides tanning taxes.
Not really.
Then I say, to save healthcare reform, get a tan!
The change has come. It's under our thumbs.
There are good things there. It certainly is good that people who were excluded for pre-existing conditions are now going to have some coverage options. And that's a good thing, and I do think it will increase access, which I'm all for that, and I think that's wonderful too.
The federal government taking over more patients' decisions of what kind of medicine they will be receiving, etc., is not a good thing. Medicare and Medicaid have taught us that when the government forms a bureaucracy to control any aspect of life, it gets more expensive and the care decreases in quality, I believe. The government taking over will increase the number of patients able to access care, which will likely flood the PCPs of the country, causing massive waits and decreasing quality of care and timeliness of care.
Instead of Pelosi and Obama, they should have had the blondes of the country write the reform bill. Not only would it have made more sense, but we'd have a lot more fun passing it.
A good analogy might be this horse race that took place this past weekend at Monmouth Park in New Jersey. Okay? This is legit, 7th race. The two principles were, my wife knows everything versus the wife doesn't know. Okay, neck and neck, all the way down the stretch. My wife knows everything, the wife doesn't know. My wife knows everything, the wife doesn't know. This poor track announcer found himself smack dab in the middle of just about every spousal argument ever waged. Okay? What does this have to do with healthcare reform? I have no clue. Okay? But I'm going to leave that to the pundits. For me, my money's on Caduceus.
The change has come. It's under our thumbs.
In my opinion, healthcare has always been an industry under rapid change. I think, however, healthcare reform is a total game changer. Employers are going to have to be on alert. I just spoke to a good friend of mine the other day, owns a small company. In a matter of a few months, his cost, same services, are going up 30%. He's panicked. I think for medical practices like Caduceus, expanding coverage is going to give us access to many more patients. However, I think that's also going to create corresponding cost, and it's going to bring impacts that we don't really quite know yet. So I think we need to be able to ask ourselves, how will this business be managed? What new demands are going to be required of us and of the providers? How are physicians going to modify how they practice? And what, if any, will technology play a role? For my part, I'm hoping that our new implementation of our EMR system and the decision support tools that are going to come with that are going to bring us some of those solutions. Both clinical, financial, operational. Our job's going to be make sure we collect the data.
Well, what I see is 30 million Americans getting healthcare insurance that couldn't get it before. Pre-existing injuries will be illegal to use to deny care. If you lose your job, your health plan is safe. So to all those health plans out there, I say it's about time.
The change has come. It's under our thumbs.
Well, I see both a negative and a positive. I think that the federal takeover of the healthcare system will separate consumers from healthcare services for the primary purpose of rationing care based on one's perceived value. On the positive, I see an unprecedented number of congressmen losing their jobs in November and next for shoving down the throats of the American people a piece of unread and unwanted legislation.
If we took all the money the Republicans spent fighting the health care reform,
and we took all of the money the Democrats used to buy health care reform votes, we would have all the money we needed to fix health care.
As a law, it's the worst piece of legislation since Prohibition. Nevertheless, it does curb certain questionable practices of the health plan, such as Kaiser, such as pre-existing conditions. Now, smaller groups, such as Caduceus, can compete head-to-head with the big boys like Kaiser, who have certainly gamed the system over the years. So take this as a warning. Kaiser, you're going down.
It seems to me that if the American people wanted healthcare reform, they wouldn't have had to cut backroom deals and buy the votes that they needed. This was shoved down the throats of the American people, and it didn't even fix the problem.
Paraphrasing Otto von Bismarck, anyone who loves sausage or the law should never watch either of them being made. Passage of the Healthcare Finance Reform Law was an extremely contentious and tainted process, resulting in a bill that falls woefully short of addressing the problems of 33 million uninsured Americans. That being said, it is the first significant step towards assuring that every American has access to health care and the means to pay for it. At Caduceus, we recognize the limitations and burdens this law creates. However, we choose to take the positive road. We choose to position ourselves to care for every newly insured member of our community and grow and prosper in the process. We choose to make the most of this opportunity. As the late Robert Kennedy said, there are those who see things the way they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not.